Hi everyone. So we are back with another session of MBA Talks, and I am Anusha from Careers 360. Today we have Shubham with us, who pursued MBA from JBIMS and is currently working as a consultant at Deloitte. Hi Shubham, how are you?
Hi Anusha, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
So, like you're working as a consultant.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me something about your profile?
Yeah. So currently I'm based out of Mumbai, but I'm originally from Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, Aurangabad. So I did my engineering, mechanical engineering in COEP. And after that, I joined MBA at JBIMS. So I'm from the batch of 2021 in COEP and 23 at JBIMS. Before joining my MBA, while I was in college, I've done a lot of things, as in apart from the studies itself. So I was not that interested in the studies itself. I was a bit bored of my engineering. So I was just doing a lot of random stuff. So I have worked in multiple festivals in my college. So COEP has a lot of festivals going on. So I got into that a lot. I was in multiple festivals over there. At the same time, I had joined a part-time job as a digital marketer for 2 years while in college itself. And at the same time, I also took on some leadership responsibilities in an NGO. So I was doing that for 2 years as well. So apart from college, I've done these things.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much about
That,
before my MBA.
yeah. Okay, that's great. So, like right now, you're working as a consultant, right?
Yeah.
So, how does a day look like in a life of a consultant at Deloitte? How would you describe it?
So a day is not something hard put for us. We don't have daily scrums. We don't have daily check-ins and all of that. The way we work in our team specifically, I think this varies team-wise in every company. In our team, my manager just gives us a task. They give us this particular assignment. They ask us to take the lead on this, and we're supposed to drive it till the end. So an assignment could vary from a month to 2, 3 months as well. So we have regular checkups just to see how it's going, whether everything is going all right or not. But we don't have something daily going on. So some days I might wake up at 9 a.m., log in at 11 and work till 2, 3 at night. Some days I might just log in at 9 a.m. and work till 2, 3 p.m. itself. So it's quite flexible. It's up to me how I can. My team gives me that flexibility. So there
Oh,
is no coded schedule or something such.
so like I've heard that there is no work-life balance. After being a consultant, you get in that role and you're just working for 14, 15 hours a day. So is that true?
I would not say it's true completely. There is some caveat to that as well. The idea is that projects do tend to be hectic, right? And this varies a lot as per teams. Some teams wouldn't be as crazy on you, but there are some teams who would make you go that extra mile. So this is rare actually, but most of the people do work a long hours. That does happen. But then again, it comes in waves. So if you are working on a particular project, when the deliverables are there, in the last leg, let's say it's a 3 month project, in the last 2, 3 weeks, you'll be working many hours, right? Because you have the deliverable coming up. But apart from that, you might be working less number of hours. So it's like waves, kabhi zyada, kabhi kam, kabhi zyada, kabhi kam. It's a bit like that.
Okay, so that's good because I was also planning to get into this field maybe someday in future. So
Definitely, all the
like,
best.
I wanted to ask, what does a consultant do? What tasks do they carry out?
What does a consultant do? So I'll just specifically answer to my particular field, right? So I work in energy management. So what my team is, so if you're a company who has any issues in regards to energy itself. So you have a particular plant, you have a particular requirement with regards to electricity, right? So that's where we come into play. So any questions, any type of issue that you have, our team comes into play with that. So one example could be you are a generating plant, right? And you are generating about this quantum of energy, and you want to sell that to other corporates. So we can come into that. Let's say you have a particular plant that is not efficient right now. We can come play a role into that as well. We can give you ideas. We can assess the plant itself. and give you ideas on how to improve on that. Another example would be this happens a lot with us is that a lot of companies come to us trying to understand the market, trying to judge the market. So we conduct a lot of studies on the market itself, how the market is growing, which direction is the market going in. So in all of this, my role varies a lot. Sometimes I might be doing lead generation, pure sales. Sometimes I might be doing a market research for role. So I'm wearing a lot of hats at the same time.
Right.
And this is what is with me, but it might vary with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I've heard that to become a consultant, you need to know what is going on in the market. You must have that business wala mindset, and you just need to know Excel. You don't need to know Python or Java and anything else, and
Yeah.
you're good to go. Is that true?
Then again, it varies. Yes, as I said, it varies as per teams, as per requirements. Just to give an example, there are two types in consult. There is the sector agnostic call and there is the sector specific. So ours is sector specific. So we work in the power sector and we do a range of projects in power sector. But there are certain teams who are sector agnostic. So let's say there is a marketing team, customer relations team. They would work across with various sectors, but just doing that marketing stuff across the sectors. So according to that, the skill set varies. In my team, yes, I do require financial modeling, but it does majorly depend on Excel itself. Although AI वगैरह आ चुका है, but still we do index a lot on Excel itself. So yeah, that happens. But Python and all that, yes, that is expected from us as well. So since I've just joined right now, I'm not exclusively working on those stuff. But as I move ahead, I'll be expected to work on learning Python, Power BI, SQL. All of this is expected from me.
Okay.
Working around data is quite the big task.
Right, right.
So you'll be spending a major amount of your time working on data itself, understanding data, gathering data, all of
All right.
that.
So, like, is the field of consultancy very glamorous? And like, what is the reason that you're taking FT amount of checks? So, would you like
It's
to?
a it's a myth that we're taking hefty amount of checks. That's not the reality.
Yeah,
But
what is the reality? You want to know?
yeah, it's not that crazy compared to other companies, I would say. But there is this glamour associated with consulting. I do agree with the travels and all of that. You're traveling all the time. You're posting these fancy stories. You're sitting in ITC here, ITC there. You're sitting in Taj maybe. That stuff does sound attractive, but it gets saturating. It gets frustrating quite easily, right? What people don't see is that you're traveling. You're taking 4 a.m. flights in the morning. You're coming back home at 11 at night, 12 at night, 1 at night. You're early morning you're leaving for Delhi from Mumbai, and at night you're coming back from Delhi. Next day again you're going to some other city. That also happens. This is a bit of an extreme example, but that also happens. There is a bit of a glamour. There is a bit of a exaggeration as well. So taking it with a pinch of salt is what's important, I would say.
Okay. So, like, the salary packages are not that high that what we listened as
No, no,
Sajid.
they are high enough. I'm just saying that they are comparable to other companies as well. You won't see a huge gap between the two.
Like, I've heard that it's even more than an investment banker.
Uh, so it's not a dichotomy, yes or no. It's an overlap. Some companies do offer a higher package. Some companies offer a lower package. So it's a band that all the companies lie on. So IB also lies there. There are a few IB companies who pay a huge ton of money. There are a few consulting companies who do pay a good amount of money. So you cannot just say yes, IB pays more, consulting pays more. I would say it's an overlap.
Whatever that you've learned at JBIMS, are you able to apply that in your job? All
Yeah,
the
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So our major task is around consulting, right? Of course, it's consultancy. But the main idea is that we do create go-to-market strategies. We do work on other strategies as well, such as I was working on a commercial due diligence in the very beginning itself. So all of these, I was able to learn these things in my MBA itself. So that helped me create the base, which has helped me here. Of course, I could not learn everything, and there was a huge learning curve entering into the industry, coming into the consulting field. But yeah, it helped a lot.
So, like, what was the exact reason that you chose to pursue MBA after you switched from an engineering background?
So with me, I am from the 2021 batch of engineering, right? And while I was doing my engineering, I had joined this AI startup called AI Adventures. And while I was working there, I had decided that I would do an MBA in the distant future. The main reason behind that was as I was working in that field, I was able to work with a lot of people, right? I was working in teams, I was leading teams, I was doing a lot of things. And in that, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed working with people. And back then the conception was that doing an MBA would put me in positions where I'll be able to lead teams and all of that. So might have been naive back then, but I don't know. But that was the initial motivation for me, go for an MBA. But in the initial phase, the idea was that I will do an MBA in a few years. So maybe I would have gone for an MBA in 2023, 2024, perhaps. But then COVID happened, right? The startup that I was working in was not, we had stopped operations for a bit. And while I had decided to do an MBA, my bigger concern was to go for an ROI based company college, right? I didn't want to shell out a huge amount sum of money, but that's just my own philosophy, not something everyone should follow. But that was my thing was not to sell out a lot of money, and I didn't know about JBIMS back then. A friend had told me, "Take college hai bhai, CET दे सकते हैं, and the fees is quite low. Why don't you try for it?" तो ऐसे हंसते हंसते एग्जाम प्रेप करना चालू कर दिया. It just worked out, and here we are now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, do you think that it's worth doing MBA in 2024?
Definitely. I do think it's always worth doing an MBA. But I would say getting some experience before doing an MBA would help a lot. There is this thing in India compared to other nations is that if you go to abroad nations, developed countries, the MBAs over there, they have they have a criteria that you have to have a 2 years or 3 years of experience.
Hmm.
I'm not sure about every college, but there is this criteria in major colleges, right? So the idea behind that is once you have been in corporate itself, you get a flavor of how the world works, right? When you're just out of college, you're just still in that naive phase. तुम बचकाने होते हो कहीं ना कहीं. You don't know the world itself, right?
Right.
You don't know how people work. You don't know how organizations work. You don't know how teams behave, right? So because of that, getting work experience gives you a lot of perspective while doing an MBA. So as I was in JBIMS and we were being taught different subjects, right? I could see the topics that they were discussing, and I could relate them back to what I had worked with, right? So we have this topic called organization behavior. It's about how motivations, attitude, and all of that. So I could relate, I could understand, I could in retrospect think about that. Yeah, हाँ यार, this makes sense. ऐसा हुआ था. So having that experience does help a lot.
Right.
So I would
Okay.
say getting a 2 3 year experience and after that going for an MBA is definitely worth. And no matter what the hype says, MBA is worth it.
Okay. Right. Great.
But
So,
then again, you should not be shelling out money for tier 3 वैसे work
yeah.
with छोटा मतलब इसे random college से MBA करने से it won't help you of course.
हाँ, ये तो है.
Yeah.
So, like, after graduating from JBIMS, do you feel secure career-wise that it has done good to you? Something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It has done good to me career-wise. It definitely has. Uh, I'm not sure about whether to call it secure or not, but the platform it has given me is something else totally, right? It has put me on a different platform where I can jump and take higher leaps. So I would not say secure, but it has given me ambitions that even if it's not secure, I can always go somewhere else.
Okay. Nice. So, okay, Shubham, let's get back in time and talk about your life at JBIMS and how you prepared for the MBA entrance exams. Okay.
So what do you want me to talk about first? The MBA exam, या फिर
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
JBIMS life?
Okay. So, which MBA exam did you appear for?
So I have given CET, MBA CET, MAHCET CET, and I have also appeared for CAT, both in 2021.
And how much did you score in them?
So MBA CET, through which I got into JBIMS. I gave in September. I had scored 99.9 percentile in that. And in November of the same year, I had given CAT. I scored 99.4 percentile.
Okay. So how did you prepare for your CAT exam?
So for my CAT exam, it flowed through my CET exam, right? I had prepared for CET for 6 months before that. So that preparation helped me a lot. It had created a base for me to get into CAT itself.
Okay.
Although the overlap between CET and CAT is, I would say, less than 40-50% only. But still, it got me into the mindset of the exam. So that helped me a lot. If you want, I can just talk to you about the CET, then I can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
into
sure, sure.
CAT itself, right? So I'll just give you a timeline of how it worked, right? So the basic idea was I gave a mock first, trying to understand where I stand. Once I got an idea ki yaar, my English was decent, right? I used to read books a lot, so that helped me. So my English was decent. My cons was very weak. My LR was somewhat average. An abstract, I don't remember to be honest. So what I understood from that is what I need to focus on. So for the next 1.5 months, I didn't give any mocks and I went crazy on the syllabus. I just went crazy on the syllabus. I decided to complete the syllabus from A to Z. I finished the syllabus and after that, I started giving mocks again. And once I started giving mocks again, the idea here was analyze mocks, analyze mocks, analyze mocks, right? Give a mock, you analyze the mock, then you spend 2-3 days on after you have analyzed what you have understood, learn the topics again, what you're missing out on, and then again improve. About like 3-4 months into it, I had hit a plateau. So for JBIMS, you need about 135 plus score for JBIMS, right? But I had hit a plateau around 150. So I was not improving beyond that. So my cons was quite weak. So what I did was back then was I took a break again and I did my cons syllabus A to Z again. So after that, I made the leap of 135. That's how the CET thing went away. And after that came CAT. So September, I think it was around 16 September or something. I gave my CET, then I took a break of about a week or so. Then I started with CAT again. The same idea with CAT as well, what I did with CET. I gave a mock first, tried to understand where I stand with the exam, uh, what my strong points are, what my weak points are. Strangely enough, what I realized was my English, although was really good in CET, it was the worst in CAT, right? It was the worst in CAT and it stayed the same even in the final exam as well. I could not improve on my English is what I realized because English is a certain subject that you cannot, you know, solve through logic itself. I is what my feeling is. You need hunches, right?
Hmm.
Let's say your mother tongue is Hindi and मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ आपसे एंड मैं कुछ गलत बोला मैंने तो आपको पता है मैंने कुछ तो गलत बोला है मतलब गलत एज इन ग्रामेटिकली कुछ गलत बोला है मैंने आपको पता है मैंने कुछ गलत बोला है अगर आपको पता नहीं होगा कि मैंने गलत क्या बोला एग्जैक्टली बट यू नो यू हैव दिस हंच कि यार ही हैज सेड समथिंग रॉन्ग there is this feeling inside you that he has said something wrong. That is the level of understanding. That is the level of literacy, I would say. I don't know, mastery that you should have in English to tackle exams like these is what I felt. Is what I felt, and I was not at that level at the time of CAT. And so I didn't have a lot of time. So it was just October and November, half November, 1.5 months I had. So I decided to focus on fonts and what was that? DILR, to be honest, the complete DILR section and cons. So that was the idea, and I was focusing on those incessantly. In that, what I was doing is I had bought multiple mocks. I had bought 2 mocks, I think, and at the same time, I had talked to a few friends, and we had bought a few mocks in collaboration. So he would give half the mocks, I would give half the mocks. So I had access to multiple mocks, mock center ka mocks. So what I did was for each subject I was going through multiple previous year question papers. So I did my syllabus and I did went through all the previous year question papers and also the previous year mocks that these classes had. I believe those are actually really good sources of studying of solving itself. So that's helped a lot. And that is what I did for CAT itself.
Okay. So did you take any coaching or you prepared it by yourself?
I did my by myself. I
Oh.
didn't take it.
So, like all this preparation that you did during your MAHCET exam, it helped you in CAT as well, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Or was there any major difference that you would like to point out between that you noticed?
Sure. So the idea with CET is that CET is a time-based exam, right? Its difficulty is quite easy. So you get 2.5 hours. If I give you 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, you will solve through the complete paper if you have done the syllabus, of course. But that's not the case with CAT. CAT is more you have time, but you would need more practice, you would need more studying, you would need more hard work with CAT. Of course, hard work is there with both of the exams, but difficulty level and the speed at which you have to solve the questions is what the major differences between the two are. And with CAT, what helped me a lot, I would say, is that I'll just talk about both the exams and what are the major factors that helped me tackle the exams, right? For CET, I would say what I used to do is in my preparation period, right? Every single day I used to wake up and I had this particular exercise. I used to write down tables, I used to write down squares, I used to write down cubes. I was practicing Vedic maths. Every single day I was taking up 4 or 5 questions, some multiplication, some addition, some subtractions, just to get my mind to that speed, right? So when I'm in the exam, I should not spend a lot of time in subtracting 325 minus 128. I should be quick with that. That was the idea with this. I was doing that. That helped me a lot gain speed in CET, right? I believe that was a good factor in that because it got me into that quick pace, quick state of mind. And with CAD, I would say, so with CAT, right, till 2 weeks before CAT, I had hit a plateau. I was not crossing 90 percentile at all. So overall, and everything I could do, I was trying, but nothing was working out. So I talked to this individual. So I was quite active on Telegram groups back then, and I would say that is something that everyone should do because it helps a lot. You get to how do I say that? You get to meet with a lot of people, and they do share tricks and tips वगैरह. तो ऐसे ही मैंने एक बंदे से बात किया था, and he told me that your accuracy in fonts is not where it should be. What you should do is what he told me was I'm making a lot of silly mistakes, right? And although it was a very obvious advice, I didn't see it back then. He, as a third person, saw it, and I could not see it with my own bare eyes. He told me that I'm making a lot of silly mistakes. So what I should be doing is take a lot of previous mocks that I've given, so 5, 6 mocks, take those mocks, make a list of all the silly mistakes you have made, and before the next mock, go through the silly mistakes. I did just that, and my cons, which was in 85th percentile, magically went till 99 plus percentile.
Okay.
My cons was the biggest score thrust, which gave the biggest thrust to my score. So I had 99.8 in CAT itself. Oh, sorry, cons itself. My verbal was down. It was at 95 or something. But this helped me a lot. So this negative marking aspect of CAT is something that you should be paying attention to. And getting that accuracy is what matters in CAT. And getting that speed is what matters in CET, is what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, would you like to give some exam day strategy? Like, what did you follow during your preparation?
So with CET, what had happened was before our CET, right? Till 2020, the CETs before that used to happen with sections. So you had 75 questions for LR, 25 for abstract reasoning, 50 for chords, and 50 for verbal. And that is how we prepared, keeping that in mind. So how do we tackle with that? We had strategies in place to tackle just that, right? But when we went to exam itself, mine was I think the first lot itself. When I went to the exam, I opened my device. What I see is the paper is completely jumbled. There are no sections. There is nothing. So every strategy that I had went out of the window, right? So, but the basic idea with my strategy earlier was that I had seen this YouTube video. I don't remember the video now, but the basic idea in that video was that that individual had said that you should have 4 or 5 different mock strategies. Try these, like give 2, 3 mocks with each strategy, And after at the end of it all, come up with your own strategy. Mix and match. See what makes most sense for you, right? So the strategy that I had come up with, or a bunch of people that we were studying together, we had come up with, not just me. The idea was that in the first 1 hour of the exam itself, you tackle the entire question paper. Tackle as in you go through the entire question paper and you solve the easiest questions. So when I enter the exam hall, what I do is first 10 minutes I spend on abstract reasoning. I finish abstract. Next 15 I spend on verbal. Next 15 I spend on cons. That's about 40 minutes. And now next 20 I spend on the logical reasoning. In those 60 minutes, I solve only the questions which I can solve in less than 40 seconds. And so which are very easy. I can solve them without even lifting a pen. That was the main idea behind the first hour. So in that first hour, I was able to go through the entire set of 200 questions. 200, right? Yeah, 200. I was able to go through the entire set of 200 questions, and it gave me an idea of the entire paper, right? What the difficulty level is of each subject. So I realized कि यार logical के puzzles बहुत बड़े बड़े आने वाले. So accordingly, I would allocate my further time. So I used that stream strategy when we were thrown into that jumbled exam. So what I did back then as well was I allocated the first half an hour for the first 100 questions and the next half an hour for the next 100 questions. So in the first half an hour, I did all the easy ones. So basically the idea behind questions is you can divide the questions in 3 to 4 levels of difficulty. Easiest, the second easiest, third, then like that. So what I was doing is I was doing all the easiest questions, which I was able to do even without lifting a pen. And at the same time, I was marking the questions which I could do in in similar amount of time, but which would need me my pen or it would take me some 10-15 seconds extra. I was marking those questions, right? After I'm doing that, once I'm done with the first 1 hour, I would have solved around 80-90 questions. I would be done with the major chunk of the paper itself. And I would understand by that what is the level of the paper. Now, as I move into the second hour, I will go tackle every marked question that I have kept marked. In the first 1 hour, I would have marked 50, 60 questions, right? I would go back and solve all the questions. And then whatever time is left, I would go back and see what all is left and try and tackle those. That was the main idea with CET.
Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah.
with with CAT,
Yeah.
with CAT, I would say CAT, I didn't have a strategy per se because you have a lot of time anyway, right? It's just solve each question. Not solve each question, but try to understand each question, right? The biggest thing with CAD was that I would say about LR, right? DILR. It's very easy to get lost in the puzzles. It's very easy to get lost in the DIs. So knowing which puzzles to choose is as important as solving the puzzle itself. Because it's very easy for you to get lost in a puzzle which is not solvable.
Right.
So you will get that idea, you will get an understanding about the mock itself. Oh, sorry, about the puzzle itself after solving a lot of puzzles. So you'll get an assessment, you will get a like intuition. कि भाई ये तो थोड़ा difficult लग रहा है. Let's skip this. You will get to that level. So you would need a lot of practice for that.
Okay. So like 4-5 days before exam, what did you used to do? Did you take up any new chapter or something like that?
Nothing. I didn't do anything. So chapters, definitely not, because the whole idea was that I have finished the syllabus huge time before only, right? It's if I want to get into these colleges, if I want to get into these top colleges, I cannot go blindly into those. I need to be prepared fully, right? So I cannot be going at topics at the last moment. So the last moment has to be just chilling, just getting that mindset, I would say.
Yeah.
Last 7-8 days बस chill करो और कुछ मत करो. तुम्हारा
Okay.
preparation पहले ही हुआ है तुम्हारा. Just trust yourself, trust that preparation, and just chill for the last few days. Try to keep the mindset in the right place, because I know few of my friends who were much capable than I am, but on the exam day itself, something went wrong. Something went wrong, and they could not get to that point, right? It's a very unfortunate thing. So I would say focusing on your mindset matters a lot. So getting into that mindset and staying away from negative thoughts or negative people or negative situations would help a lot. So maybe that helps. I was focusing on that only for the last week for CET. For CAD, I would say I was giving a mock. I gave my last mock about 3 days before the exam because I had less time, so I had to optimize whatever I could get. But last 2 days I did nothing.
Okay.
Just on the day of the exam, when I wake up and I was going for the exam, I would sit back in the rickshaw or the car, whatever it is. I'll just do some quick maths, some basic maths, just to get your mind to the warmed up to that zone. That was the idea, but nothing else about it.
So how did you revise a few days before exam? Did you make any notes or
Yeah, yeah.
flashcards, something like that?
I didn't make any flashcards, but I was rigorously making notes.
Okay.
While I was going through the syllabus, I had made a lot of notes. So I was regularly going through them, and that helped a lot.
So would you like to recommend few good books or study material that you found helpful?
So for CET, for CAT, I did kind of get a class, I would say, because a friend shared his course with me. So I'd say I did that help me. But with CET, I would say is a very easy exam. Difficulty level wise, I'm not saying it's very easy to crack. Difficulty level wise, is a very easy exam. But so you can get everything that you want on YouTube. So if you have time, कि तुम job नहीं कर रहे हो and you have time to go through stuff, find materials, then YouTube is the best source that you can find. An academy also had some free courses on that, so you can go through that as well. An academy where I was following a few people, you can go through that. You can use YouTube as well. These things would help a lot.
Okay.
And the biggest, I think, biggest catalyst or the biggest factor for my whatever score I had was, I would say, being social. It might sound weird, but the idea was that I was active on a lot of Telegram groups. Right? So Telegram has a quite a thriving community of competitive exam aspirants, and on those groups you find a huge amount of material. You find a huge number of people who are willing to help you. You find a huge number of people who will help you solve your questions. A lot of these things you can discuss with them about how your preparation is going. You can ask them doubts. Some will help you, some might not help you, but some will help you, right? And that takes you a long way. And since I was active in so many groups, I was added in a particular group, which in that group, we just 10, 15 people, right? And we were preparing all of us together. So, hota kya tha ki, let's say I was giving a mock, I used to give that mock and I used to post my score in that mock, of that mock into the group. कि भाई ये देखो मेरा 130 आ गया है, अभी तुम दे दो. अभी that used to make everyone competitive. चलो अभी मैं भी दूंगा. I want to beat this score. And for every one of us, right, through that healthy competition, all of us were able to improve a lot. So being social in its own way helps a lot. So I would say that is a huge factor. So if you're preparing for CET, don't do it isolated. If you're preparing for CAT, don't do it isolated. For any exam for that matter, talk to a lot of people. Try to understand from a lot of people. People who are getting that score, what are they doing right? कभी वक्त मिले तो उनको बोलना भाई 10 मिनट ले ले मेरा मॉक चेक कर ले. Just analyze my mock, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me what I'm doing right. Just getting that third person perspective also helps a lot.
Right.
So I would say being social is the biggest takeaway, I'm saying.
Yeah, this Telegram wala tip was very good, good one that people should follow. Yeah.
I hope they do.
Yeah. So when you were preparing for CAT and MAHCET, which colleges were on your list that you wanted to get into?
So I am Ahmedabad, JBIMS and FMS.
So and for MAHCET?
JBIMS.
Okay. So did you get call from IIMs?
Yeah, I got calls from all the IIMs.
So did you went for that their
Yeah,
selection rounds?
yeah, I did go for the interviews as well. I had converted. I didn't convert A and B. I was able to convert C and all the rest of the colleges except A and B.
So why did you choose JBIMS over IMC?
So this question has been lot asked by a few people. I'll just give you a structured answer for that because I've prepared it a lot. I keep answering this to everyone. So the main idea was that I gave my CAT in November. I joined JBIMS in December. I got my summer internship in February, right? And the admits from these IIMs came in late in June or something. By that time, I had finished one semester. I had finished my summer internship as well. And somewhere, what my feeling was that the fees at JBIMS for me was quite low, right? I didn't have to take any loan at all. That was the first point. The other point was that I also already had received an internship. JBIMS has a very low class strength. It's just 150 people. So you're competing in less number of people, right? So with JBIMS, the thing with JBIMS is that I call JBIMS the great equalizer. So whatever background you had, you come to JBIMS, JBIMS तुमको धुला के भेज देगा.
Okay.
That is the idea with JBIMS, right? And my undergrad score was not that impressive. So I needed that. I needed this great equalizer. If I had gone to these fancy IIMs, I would say I didn't have the good acats for me to get good opportunities, right? And they would just judge me based on my past performance, and that would not be fair to me. And being in JBIMS got me those opportunities which I maybe not would have received in other colleges, right? So that was the major reason, the ROI factor itself, the money factor. The second factor was this getting opportunities. The third factor was if I had gone to an IIM, I would have graduated this year, 2024, abhi, in a month. But I did it 1 year earlier. एक साल का extra पैसा मिला मुझे. So yeah, that is another reason. And again, I don't know, maybe God help me or I don't know, but the market is really bad right now.
Right.
I was able to ride the wave in the good times and I got out. So I would say that turned out to be a good decision for me. So yeah, these three major reasons I would say.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found this session helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. For more information on CAT and MAHCET preparation, check the description box below.